Hey everyone, it's your host Jessie G. Welcome back to another episode of Jessie's Hangout. Welcome. If you're new to the channel and to the episode and you happen to be watching it with a friend or somebody, hi, I'm Jessie. I'm the owner and creator of Jessie's Hangout. Welcome. If you wish to be more notified or you're interested or both in the content that I create for this channel, hit that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified as to when I upload videos in the future and you don't miss out on anything and you get a chance to see every video that I post and you know what I mean. But anyways, today's episode is all about the scariest places in the world and on Earth. I picked out 3 of them because these are more known to people and more talked about among a lot of YouTubers and just people in general, and you hear about them through paranormal investigators as well. And I picked out these 3 different places to talk about. So I hope you guys will enjoy today's episode and take a lot out of today's episode and learn a lot too as well. Please don't forget to read that trigger and sensitive warning before you start the episode or before you continue on. Also, there's the opening credits and the copyright disclaimer that you normally see before the show starts. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. First place we are going to be talking about on the list, this person has been talked about in my last season of Jessie's Hangout, the first season. I talked about her for a true crime series that I did for Jessie's Hangout. Her name is Lizzie Borton. She was born in 1869. I was going to say 96. Whoops. 1864 and died in 1927. She was the notorious axe murderess. She was accused of murdering her family and the servants that once lived in that place among the family. She was accused of the murders in 1892, but since how I'm assuming there was not enough circumstantial evidence or physical evidence that would prove or tie her to the crimes, and the fact that she never really confessed to the murders or to the crime, and people knew that she did it, even the whole town of Fall River, Massachusetts knew she did it, but she never really confessed to any of it. She was acquitted of the charges, or basically she was set free from the charges. They dropped them due to that. So she was never really truly arrested for the murder. She lived a couple houses down or at least a couple houses or a mile away from her old house that was once her home for a long time, and due to the murders and the certain events that happened that led her to move out of it into a different house. She did live with her sister for a certain period of time, but due to all of the still allegations and people still accusing her of it and just the normal stress and them two butting heads, she moved out of the house. I'm not really sure, if I can't really remember straight, if her sister got married or not, but I know Lizzie was never married either. She never married, never had any kids or anything. She just lived in that house by herself, had passed away in that house. The house now stands to this day. It serves as a bed and breakfast where paranormal investigators and visitors and tourists have visited the house and have had their own personal experience with the paranormal activity that's gone in that house. As you guys know, the TV series that you see on Discovery Plus app and also the Travel Channel app, as well as the channel itself, Ghost Avengers, they have visited the house before and have conducted their own and paranormal investigation, but they had to leave the house early due to the fact of the negative energy that was having a really bad effect on them, worse than they normally get when they enter these types of places. It's not the first time that that's happened to them, and it probably won't be the last time it ever happens to them, sadly to say, but yeah. This second one that we will be talking about is actually an island. It's located in Venice, Italy. I'm gonna probably kibosh the name, but you'll see the name in the photos and also a little historical thing beside it that you'll be hearing me talk about. You'll also have seen it while I was talking about the Lizzie Burton house as well. This island is called Perlervia Island. It is an abandoned island. It once served as a quarantine zone for the plague. It also served as an asylum, a sane asylum, and of course the hospital to treat various other diseases throughout the 20th century. But due to a very strange or very horrific death of a doctor that once worked at that asylum and did things a doctor shouldn't do, and because of that he ended up dying in that place. Well, not necessarily in that place, but yeah. But due to his horrific death under really strange and crazy circumstances, they abandoned the island. And when they abandoned the island, it was for the final and last time. That island has been abandoned before, but when they abandoned it for this time around, it was for good. And when they abandoned it, the whole hospital and everything was still there. All the equipment, everything was still in that hospital, and it slowly continued to become ruins. And what it is today, it still stands, but due to the fact that it's not so much the fact that it's dangerous because it's in ruins, because of the paranormal activity and the bad energy, and because of what that place once was, and because of the things that went on in that asylum, in that hospital, and the horrific stories that came out of it, the government and the president of Italy I'm gonna eventually spit it out, y'all. Eventually made it to where visitors and the people in also Italy could no longer visit the island anymore. They made it to where they I wouldn't say prohibited, but I don't think that's necessarily the word, but they basically said that visitors and people can no longer visit the island. But the scariest places in the world and Ghost Adventures got permission from the president and the government and the people that supposedly either own or run the place or whatever. They got permission from them to go visit the island and conduct their own paranormal investigations on that island. Now, this episode aired so long ago, I'm not really sure if Zach and his team really got much from the island. I don't know. But I know that there has been other investigators who have gotten some pretty strange things from that place and have had pretty strange activity happen in that place. So, it's just kind of take it as your own opinion, whether you're a skeptic or not. It's your own opinion about what you think, whether or not that place is haunted or not. But it's definitely a scary place to be in, I will say that much. This next one, this one has been famous in movies. This has been famous in books and throughout history. This place is or I should say castle, so to speak. Bryant Castle, aka Dracula's castle. This castle was constructed in 1388, but in 1377, King Louis of Anjou, or he's better known as King Louis the Great, issued a document granting the people of Barosiva the privilege of building the castle, and the construction started in 1388. During that time, Brian Castle will continue to see pretty horrific events and pretty horrific and historical events throughout the years, and sometime in the midst of the 1400s, Vlad Dracula, or Vlad the Third, or better known as Vlad the Impaler, reigned over Transylvania 3 times. His first reign was in 1448 to November 1448. It was from October to November, so it was a short reign. His second reign was from the 15th of April 1456 to July 1462. His third and final reign, was from 1476 to 1477. When he died, from either one, but it was a short-lived reign. Let's just put it that way. He's been known throughout books and movies. There has been many royalties who have, over the years, who have stayed in that house or have lived in that house. One was Queen Maria. She once resided in the house from 1920 to 1938, when she died on July the 18th, 1938. I was going to say 1838. She died in 1938. She once resided in that house for a long time, which is surprising given its bad historical history behind all of that. But it was a really nice castle. I mean, it really was. Don't get me wrong. It's a really nice castle, but it's also really creepy. And the stories that came in that house from things that Vlad did in that house before he was murdered and died in either 1476 or 1477 at the age of 45 or 49 years of age. Pretty creepy. Very, very, very creepy. And it serves as a private museum that displays all of the artwork that she collected, various items that were hers over the years that she lived in that house. I think it still now belongs to her descendants of her. If I'm not mistaken, they took back the house in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. But it just serves as a museum now. But it's also been known for being not only the most scariest places on Earth, but the most haunted places on Earth. And people have gone there to do their paranormal investigation, and still have experienced some pretty creepy stuff in that castle. And people have come out with some pretty crazy stories of their encounters from that place. The fact that it still stands to this day is pretty crazy because of all the things that it had been through, and because of all the legal things that it had been through, because of the court hearings of who passes who and all of that, and all of the weird things that it's been through. I'm surprised it's still standing. Vlad Dracula movies, the original first movie, this was in a silent film. This was after the silent film era. In 1931 was the first actual where actors actually spoke in the movie. From 1931 to 2014 or 15, the first ever silent film that was done on Dracula was directed by F.W. Manhue, who was born in 1988 and died in 1931. The first silent film was in 1922. If you watched my last episode, or one of my episodes in this season where I'd done a video talking about the history of horror films. I talked about the silent film era, and I did cover a little bit about this. But he was the one that did the first ever silent film, horror film about Dracula. And then of course, the one of the most popular films that was ever done about Dracula was Brimstone's Dracula in 1992. That starred Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves, and another very, 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 very amazing actor who is also played in the Batman saga, Begins saga, or the Dark Knight saga. He played Commissioner Gordon. He was the one that played Dracula. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. It really bothers me that I can't figure it out, but if I don't, I will put it in the comments section. If I remember to, I will write a reminder to do that. But he's an amazing actor. He has been gifted throughout the years of all of his work, but he was definitely known, and this definitely stuck with him throughout his whole career, and he did absolutely amazing in it. They all did. So it was really a really good movie, really well played, and really well done about him. There's been so many stories about Vlad III of Transylvania. There's been so many stories spun about him and how he died, and and what happened. Vlad the Impaler actually died. He was killed by an assassin that was sent from the Ottoman Empire, and crazy as it sounds, back in those times, when you were told of somebody's death, they sent something of him back to the ruler, and they did. It was Madrid II, and he was either the son of Sultan Suleiman's third or second son, Salim, who was the son of Harem and Sultan Suleiman, of course. There was a part of him sent back to his grandson to prove that Vlad was dead. So that was pretty creepy. But there has been so many people who have spun so many different things of how he died. It's pretty crazy, to say the least. There's also a book out there that talks about the history of his family, the history of him, and until his death, and just things that happened, the stories that happened, and everything is pretty creepy, to say the least. You guys will have to go check it out for yourself, and I hope you guys enjoyed the pictures that went throughout this episode that had little historical things on there, so if I missed anything, you guys would see it in the pictures and written on the side, so I feel a little better about that. So feel free, anytime I have those, feel free to pause the video as we go and then continue on listening to me babble. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Stay tuned for other episodes. I got a true crime series that I'm going to try to make it out with, and I've also got a series dedicated to the demonologist that everybody has been known for, who has touched a lot of paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. I will be doing a episode about them, so stay tuned. It may be in 2 parts, it may be in 1 part, I don't know, we'll see what happens with that one, but stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified as to when I upload videos in the future. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, go check out the description box below this episode where I list all of my social media down there. Go check me out there. And I also list the equipment and everything that I use for this episode if you're interested in what I use. I will catch you guys in my next episode. Later.